In northern Ontario, Canada, along the northern shore of Lake Huron's Georgian Bay, is Philip Edward Island. Several hundred square kilometers in size, with a vast number of lakes, channels, and bays of its own, its southern shore shielded by thousands of islands, varying in size, poking out of the crystal clear blue water. It's a paddler's paradise. Having spent quite a lot of time exploring nearby Killarney Provincial Park over the past few years, Philip Edward Island, lying just across Collins Inlet, had found a spot on our bucket list of places we knew we would have to visit someday. During the August long weekend in 2024, someday came. With very little planned and a very questionable choice in watercraft, my wife Sugar Pie and I had several days at our disposal and just a few goals. Have fun, have fun, and have fun. Oh, and making a home to tell you all about it as well. I guess that's 4 goals. It would be one of the most unique, enjoyable, and unforgettable adventures we've done yet. As we awoke on day 5 of our 2024 Philip Edward Island adventure, my wife Sugar Pie and I would eventually emerge from our tent for a final morning out here to a clear blue sky over relatively smooth clear blue water for as far as the eye could see. And, like the previous day, breakfast on this morning would also feature a little blue. Morning day 5, Sugar Pie's filtering a little bit of water for our morning pancakes. Blueberries yet again. Awesome. Welcome to Breakfast in Beautiful Places, day 5, episode 5, I guess. As you see, got some pancakes coming if Sugar Pie can get it into the pot. These would be cooked by me. And although I would love to be able to show you 2 examples of the world's most picture-perfect blueberry pancakes to have ever come out of a frying pan, it didn't exactly work out that way. They were a little bit watery. I didn't have quite enough heat in the pan. It took a while to get going and it made a mess. So what we have is mashed blueberry pancakes. The result isn't very pretty. We're not going to win any World's Greatest Chef Awards. Yeah.
Tastes like blueberry pancakes.
Tastes like blueberry pancakes. Fresh blueberry pancakes.
And boy, do you taste the blueberries.
Yeah. Yep. There's mine. I've already mashed it up worse than it was. It didn't quite look that bad, but that's a decent representation of my handiwork. Someone's got a mess to clean up. How was it?
Absolutely delicious.
Yeah. We're gonna have to try this again before we're done this trip.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We brought enough pancake batter for at least, I think half of the breakfasts, and we've only had it twice, so we got a couple more. Yeah, we just gotta keep sourcing blueberries and we're good. Yeah. Ready to head off before too long on the retirement voyage of our shitty boats.
Yeah, it's time to put them to rest.
Yeah. It's had better days.
But it's been amazing, all the things that we've done with them, so.
While Sugar Pie got to cleaning my breakfast mess, I would set to packing up. And soon we would be ready for our final voyage in our cheap inflatable kayaks. We had spent a few days out here on Georgian Bay now, just island hopping from camp to camp, no real rush to get anywhere. Today, that was about to change. With Killarney Provincial Park in our sight, we were just a 3.5 kilometer paddle away from this becoming a hiking adventure. I soon found myself wondering if maybe Sugar Pie had misheard that part. Well, you got this biker chick going on today.
Vroom!
That's it. Gonna keep the sun off your head?
Yeah, and off my ears.
Yeah. We're just about ready for our last paddle. Here's our almost empty camp. As we gathered our stuff to set off from this awesome campsite one last time, it was extra important to consider the conditions of our cheap and wounded inflatable boats. We had to take every precaution we could to treat them as gently and carefully as possible from here to the finish. And that had to start with getting in them to begin with. Okay, so much for gentle and careful.
Well, the boat started going, so.
We can do a 360 to get our boats turned around. Or 180. With another successful departure underway, as far as we could tell.
Yeah, we had to.
It was time to make sure the all-important Sugar Pie cam was pointing at the all-important Sugar Pie.
Well, it's better now.
Pointing at you, right? This problem would eventually fix itself.
I got it as good as I can get it.
Well, as long as it's pointing at you.
Yeah, it is.
Otherwise, we're going to have to re-inflate the boats, go back and start all over. I think if we were ever to come back to Phillip Edward Island looking to paddle all the way around it.
This is beautiful. We're going towards the mountains.
We would do it in a clockwise direction so that the paddle home came with views like this all day. It's harder to fully appreciate it all when it's at your back. Now well underway, I checked in on Sugar Pie. How you doing up there, biker chick?
We're doing good. This is good.
She gave me a lesson in meteorology. Got a decent day?
Yes, we are so lucky. You want to know what it is? You remembered our rain jackets.
If we forgot them, we'd have been pissed on every day.
Yeah.
Sounds logical to me.
Oh, sorry. There we go. Now we got it. How's it going for you, honey?
I'm just chilling behind my biker bitch and cruising along in my kayak. Soon we would encounter another group out on the water. Some were rather curious about our choice in watercraft.
Wow, quite a group up ahead.
See that?
Hello.
Yep, we do it different.
Looks like you guys are having fun.
Absolutely. Is this the first trip you've done with the inflatable boat?
No, we've done a couple around the park, Killarney.
And how do they work?
Not bad. This is the last trip, though. They develop slow leaks eventually.
That's what I suspected, eh?
Yeah, the pontoons are good. It's just the floors.
Oh, okay. The tubes are fine with the floor.
Yeah. Have a good one. Somehow I don't think too many of those people back there were sold on our way of doing things. And the truth is, that's fine with us. Since we've gotten into backcountry adventuring, we simply make do with whatever equipment we have available to make this possible. We don't enjoy ourselves any less than anybody else. And places like this are just as amazing to visit, no matter what you're using to get here. And we have to admit, it is sort of fun doing things a bit differently. I think this next couple we encountered might agree.
That's the way to do those things, in my opinion.
Yeah. I don't have the best balance, so...
I'm just too late. I'm lazy.
Yeah, they knocked up the ball.
You guys look like you're on a long trip.
Maybe another 10K back or so for a few nights. That's all. Far enough. Is that a good one?
Oh. A little bit bumpy here.
As we got closer and closer to the end of our paddle, we were a bit surprised to see what's possibly Canada's only Army helicopter flying in the area.
Oh yeah, I see the helicopter.
It's a big one.
Yeah, it is.
It's like an Army helicopter.
It was probably a good thing we weren't planning on sneaking across any international boundaries that particular day, or any other, of course. Before long, we would paddle past the last, or first, campsite on the western end of Phillip Edward Island, meaning we were almost done with our paddle.
Yeah! Woohoo!
The last obstacle before us was the half-kilometer open water crossing of Collins Inlet. Completely exposed to the wide open Georgian Bay on our left, on a day with a lot of wind, this could be quite dangerous. Although the wind had been picking up as the morning went on, for now, it was light and at our back, and we really only needed it to stay that way for another 15 minutes or so. We knew at this point that it was the part in our paddle when we were most vulnerable should anything go wrong. We also knew that we were quite close to completing this part of our adventure. Those are two pretty great motivators for pushing on. Working together once again, like one slightly out of tune yet rather functional machine, we would make pretty short work of Collins Inlet. And before long, we were at the mouth of the Georgian Creek.
We have crossed Collins Inlet.
Very nice.
It's this way. Just Georgian Creek to go.
We're going through here?
No, we're going to the right though.
Oh. Okay.
With one final look out to Georgian Bay, we were now just a few hundred meters or so from completing this part of our adventure. We took in as much of it as we could.
I think we're just around the corner from the end.
Yeah, I think so too. Yep.
That's it, there's the ramp.
Yep, cool beans.
On perfectly still water, with the end in sight, we paddle slowly closer to the dock where we had set off from just a few days ago. Happy to be nearly done, yet knowing we would soon be climbing out of our cheap inflatable kayaks for what would most likely be the last time ever.
This is shallow over here.
And this made it all a little bittersweet.
Oh.
Well, you may see these things as nothing more than toy boats suitable for beach days and lazy river runs. For Sugar Pie and I, they became much more than that. They would open up the world in more ways than we could have ever imagined. Our first paddle to Silver Peak, and the impressions that experience alone left on us, is the inspiration for every outdoor adventure we have done since. It was in one of these boats where Sugar Pie would face her fears. Where she learned to overcome challenges.
where she built confidence. It was in one of these boats that we first got access to some of the most beautiful locations we've been to before or since. The truth is, none of the amazing adventures we've taken on over the past few years, whether on land or water, with or without them, would have happened if not for our cheap inflatable kayaks. It really did feel like we were saying goodbye to good friends. Back at the Chicanishing Creek dock, we would climb out of our boats one last time.
We've arrived. The biker chick sugar pie is out.
We would gather our stuff and celebrate our accomplishment.
Dawn, what do you think?
Think it was awesome.
Yep. There's all our stuff out of the creek. We're gonna do that again sometime, huh? One way or another.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the way around.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Okay, cool. We'll check back with you with what we're going to do next. So we're heading to the campground where we got some more hiking sites to do. Yeah?
Yeah.
You ready?
Ready.
Alright, let's go.
Choosing to leave our boats behind to be picked up later, we were off to Killarney Provincial Park's George Lake Campground, where we would spend the rest of this adventure visiting new locations on a now familiar trail, the 78-kilometer Cloche Silhouette Trail. For as long as this route is, there are surprisingly few campsites along the way. Having done the entire loop in each of the last 2 years now, and including a couple simple overnights, Sugar Pie and I have spent a night at nearly half of them now, and have hiked in to check out or take breaks at another half dozen in our travels around the park. Unable to book anything at suitable intervals to complete the loop again this year, we would settle for a series of sites within a reasonable distance for us that we had yet to see in person. A couple of those we were even excited about. The first of those would be H3 on Acid Lake, just a short 4-kilometer hike from the western end of the Cloche Silhouette Loop.
Enjoying your walk?
Yes, especially this part. It's all forest.
Yeah, now it's a little bit more like trail. Gotten out of the Chicanishing Creek access road, crossed 637, and now we're on the trail into the park. So, off to, where are we going tonight?
Acid Lake.
Ooh, far out.
Yeah.
Ready for that? That explains your outfit. I gotcha. Alright. Alright, cool. Uh-oh. I see a rock up there in front of our path. Is this going to be a problem?
Oh, I don't think so.
Finally approaching the Killarney Provincial Park George Lake Campground. Yeah.
Yay, woohoo!
Does it feel like being home?
Yes.
Alright, Sugar Pie, what's the hell's going on here? You can't be doing it a third time.
No, we're not. We're going to Acid Lake for our camp tonight. And this is the starting point.
Yeah. We're going to do a little bit of the Cloche Silhouette to Acid Lake. We're going to be going back and forth to a few different sites that we haven't seen yet on this trail.
Yep, this is definitely familiar.
Is so. Unfortunately, we're going to be following that advice this time and coming back.
That we are.
I really wish we were making it all the way around.
That was fun.
Yeah, we'll do it again someday. I introduced this section last year as the lake being held back by the Hoover Dam of beaver dams. And if we look over here, that seems to no longer be the case. And there's no longer a lake here. Gives you an idea how deep it was. Day 5, we're at Acid Lake. At least part of Acid Lake. Acid Lake is a split lake. The other half is significantly larger than this. This is a quaint little spot.
On a perfect summer afternoon, with the sun shining bright, Sugar Pie was in the mood to consider taking a swim.
Yeah, it's pretty cold.
It sometimes takes her a little coaxing to do so.
That might be the extent of it.
Not this day, apparently.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Nice.
With Sugar Pie cooled off, we would have some dinner before enjoying our evening coffee with a view.
Yeah, so welcome back to Coffee in Beautiful Places. Sugar. Where are we, Sugar Pie?
Acid Lake.
Yeah. Acid is a split lake. Here's one side, we are on the other. And I don't know if you can see it, but it's just over here. There you go. So we came for a little walk to have some coffee. Taking the view. We've seen this lake a couple times, usually with big heavy packs, because we're on day 1 of our Cloche adventures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice just to take it in.
Yeah, yeah. These campsites, we normally wouldn't probably use them because they're, if you're doing the Cloche Silhouette, at least for us, they're a little bit close to the campground to make much sense. So it's kind of nice to actually have a reason to use it.
Yeah, and we like our campsite.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. It's very peaceful. Pretty great spot for a coffee. Across the way is H4. We've not stayed there either for the reasons I just explained. I would think it's a pretty good site.
Whether the coffee is good or bad, this certainly beats the hell out of any Tim Hortons or Starbucks we've been to. Soon we would return to camp, where we would just relax and take in the evening.
Telling me to stop filming them.
Near the shore of a much tinier body of water than the previous days. As the moon began to set for the night, we would do the same. plan for day 6 of this adventure was dictated again by our self-imposed no-notice availability of close-by sites. In this case, we would be making a 4-kilometer hike back to the George Lake campground, crossing it to the eastern end of the Cloche Silhouette Trail, where 4.3 kilometers in, we had booked site H51 on Wagon Road East, or West, I forget, and it don't matter. We were less than excited to get there.
Here comes Sugar Pie, day 6.
Yeah.
Morning of, heading out onto the trail back over to our next site. We just left H3, Acid Lake. The next occupants arrived a little bit early, so we hung out with them as we finished up. They seemed like a good couple guys.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, we wish you guys luck. It's great seeing more people out here trying this for the first time, so yeah.
Exchange stories. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, you can relate to trying shit for the first time, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, we haven't been doing this that long.
So, and that's pretty cool. Like trying something for the first time. There's nothing quite like that.
Yeah. Ready?
Ready.
Off we go. Good.
Really good. We haven't gone that far yet, but I don't think we have that far to go anyways.
No, we don't. We're just above Lumsden Lake. Pretty close to where we'll be spending the night tomorrow night, possibly.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. You kind of got a mountain going on, and then the beautiful view of the water and the mountains.
Most importantly,
We're together.
no, the breeze.
Oh wow, love you too.
Jeez. Maybe we'll figure out some alternate things to do before we move on to our next site, which I anticipate to be maybe slightly better than the infamous Camp Butt Crack over around Moose Pass.
Yeah, we'll see.
Probably gonna go climb that peak that's straight over there and get you a view of Phillip Edward Island and Georgian Bay from the Killarney side.
When a dam like this busts open, it's not just the beavers that created it, or the aquatic life within and around it that's inconvenienced. As it turns out, this will make life difficult for us backpackers as well. Crossing the small stream of water that would make its way over and through the formerly intact dam used to be accomplished by simply walking across a nicely constructed wooden bridge. The only inconvenience for most hikers would be a little bit of water, or in Sugar Pie's case, hobbit-sized legs. The last time we did the Cloche Silhouette Loop, it was actually dry. I say it used to be accomplished this way, because upon first arriving here the day before, we got a lesson in what happens when this much water gets released all at once down a small stream. The bridge would still be there.
If you thought that wet bridge was tricky,
It just wouldn't be of much use to anyone at the moment.
try this little dam. The dam itself isn't so bad. It's the climb down or up from it. Being part Billy Goat helps. Sugar Pie is part Hobbit. It doesn't.
We had to climb up this rock formation the previous day on the way to Acid Lake. Turns out, that would be much simpler than climbing back down.
Maybe finding out if her new boots are waterproof.
Alright, that worked out actually. My foot didn't get wet.
That's good. Awesome job. Sugar Sugar Pie is improving on these sort of things. That same crossing might have taken us half of the afternoon our first year out.
I was more nervous going and doing it than actually doing it.
With a last look at the former beaver pond,
That's quite the scene.
before continuing on to our next campsite, I thought it would be fun to climb the ridge overlooking Lumsden Lake.
We're going to climb the little ridge above Lumsden Lake, on the south side of Lumsden Lake. Sugar Pie's leading. We'll see how she does.
We're spoiled.
Hi, here comes Sugar Pie up Lumsden Lake Ridge.
While she would come along,
There isn't really a trail here per se. We're just going up.
Sugar Pie was not at all enthusiastic about the bushwhack climb, and she made sure to tell me about it all the way to the top. My telling her that it would be worth it would fall on deaf ears. That was, of course, until we found ourselves on the top a few minutes later, enjoying a well-deserved snack in the shade of a small pine.
Well, this is a heck of a place to take a break. We're on top of Lumsden Lake Bridge. Sugar Pie snacking away.
Yeah, and dried apple slices.
Yeah. You got a campsite you're not exactly excited to get to. You sort of chill out at the pretty places along the way. And that's our plan today.
And it's a beautiful day.
Yep.
Nice place to be.
Yep. The breeze up here is good.
The views weren't half bad either.
I could fall asleep out here. It was worth the climb.
It was worth the climb, yeah. Nice place to just chill out for a little bit. Quiet by ourselves. Is that the nice part of these trips?
Yeah, the quiet and, like, of course, the nature you can't beat.
I meant spending time together.
This time, finally.
If you prefer the nature, then that's, I get it, but...
No, I love
hurt.
you too.
Okay. You too. Come on, it's not Killarney if you're not clambering around on these rocks, huh?
Yeah, I know. Pretty fun.
Yeah. Our stuff is just over the little rock behind her. Essentially, we're taking a walk over to give you a shot of the Georgian Bay, Philip Edward Island, and Manitoulin Island. If Sugar Pie can get down. Success. On this way.
It's amazing how uplifting a little time spent in beautiful places can be. How taking the time to enjoy a spectacular view can completely change a person's frame of mind.
It should be noted that on the way up, all of this was nuts. And I had to drag her kicking and screaming practically, protesting the whole way. The way down is a little bit more treacherous, and she's having a wonderful time. Will somebody please explain her to me?
With Sugar Pie happily making her descent, we would soon be off to our next campsite, H51 on Little Wagon Road Lake. Thankfully, we would end up somewhere better instead, but really only by a little bit.
A little bit of rock handling.
Yep. Billy Goat stuff again.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Suddenly it's fun now, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't get it. Little Wagon Road Lake. We're on H51. We had 52 booked, but we passed the ladies who were using 51. So we figured it's available, and we took it. because the Thunderbox at H52 is actually on the trail, and we took a chance that this one might be a little bit more private since we, or should we need it, and it turned out that it is, so good call, huh? Yeah. Sugar Pie's just finishing up some dishes. We had some pancakes for dinner.
Yes.
Yeah, no blueberries, but they were mostly because they were quick and easy, and they required little filtered water, because this is pretty much our source. And to get down there and get any is kind of a pain. So we brought as much water as we could from the campground. We're gonna use as little as we can. Probably go to bed before too long and get a quick start tomorrow.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
This would be our least favorite campsite on this trip. It's not an entirely horrible location if you're into stagnant pond water and leeches. In a park as spectacular as Killarney, however, most any other campsites you find will be better.
So it's day 7, I think, now already.
Yeah,
Holy smokes, time goes by quick, huh?
it does.
Yeah. We're at Wagon Road East or something like that. Wagon Road Lake, I guess. Site 51, 52 is just across the way. That might be our tomorrow night. I don't know exactly which.
Not wanting to hang around too long, we would soon be packed up and on our way. The plan for day 7 would have us making the 4.4 kilometer hike back to the George Lake campground once again, where we hope to leave some gear behind and grab a hot shower before heading back to the western end of the Cloche Silhouette Trail, where we would have a 3.2 kilometer hike to our next to last campsite of this trip, another site we've yet to see, H2 on Lumsden Lake.
Hi, Sugar Pie.
Hi.
What you up to?
We're going to Lumsden Lake for our camp.
Awesome. Looking forward to it?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. We visited it the other day.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fun?
It is going to
Yeah.
be fun.
We've lightened our load some.
Yes, that is definitely fun. The fun part.
Yeah, thanks, Dad. Appreciate
Thanks.
that.
Thank you.
Okay, so off we go to the start of the little Cloche Silhouette again. Sorta. Famous stairs that usually is the start of a long-ass trail. Here comes Sugar Pie. Heading out on the Cloche Silhouette Trail, a couple kilometers to H2 Lumsden Lake. See if she remembers the way. So far so good, folks. I'm scared. I don't know how many times we're passing this sign this week here out in Killarney on at least the land portion of our voyage, but it seems like every day. A lot of the trails within a day hike of George Lake Campground are treated with boardwalks to keep you from walking in the mud and stuff. This section, at least this stretch of trail, in the wrong time of year, I could see it being an issue.
Fun.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Friends of Killarney or Ontario Parks, for building boardwalks.
Yeah, Sugar Pie's allergic to mud apparently.
Hiking the same stretch of trail as the previous morning and the afternoon before that, we were happy to soon reach the trail marker into camp.
H2 Lumsden Lake.
That's right, our home for the night.
Yeah.
How about you lead the way?
All right.
So these sites are just really a short hike from the campground, maybe an hour at most if you take your time. So they're great for a day, for overnight, or first time trips. You don't want to do the whole Cloche Silhouette.
After a few minutes along some of the weirdest looking pavement I've ever seen, we would arrive at camp for the night. Greeted by lots of wind, Sugar Pie would quickly get to setting up the tent on what was really the only level piece of ground on this entire site. Well, our tent here has served us pretty well on many of our adventures to date. it's always been a bit of a tricky pain in the butt to set up. The constant pulling and overstretching of the material while fighting with the support poles has taken its toll, and it is starting to show its age. Nevertheless, we make do with what we got. And before too long, we were all set up and ready to move on to filtering water to prepare some dinner.
Pi's cooking us up some dinner of rice and some butter chicken sauce. I don't remember the full name. I'll put it on the screen for you. We're hoping it works. We've dehydrated it. It's a bit greasy. Butter obviously doesn't dehydrate so well, so this is kind of an experiment. We'll let you know.
I'm looking forward to finding out how it turns out.
Yeah. It smells really good.
It does smell good.
If that stuff rehydrates and mixes in, it could be pretty yummy.
With dinner rehydrating, there wasn't much to do now but to enjoy the view from our kitchen of the day and the smell coming from our pot of food. I'm honestly not sure which I like better. Before long, dinner would be done, and we were a bit surprised with how well it would turn out.
It looks good.
Yeah, I'd call that a success.
I think
The question is what's coming now. Let's see.
It's very good, but very hot.
Very good, but very hot. All right, well, we'll let it cool.
It worked out well.
Sometimes experiments pay off.
Absolutely.
While Sugar Pie cleaned up after dinner, I took a walk up to the small pond located just behind our campsite and was delighted to spot a beaver out swimming close by. Realizing I had the wrong camera for the shot, I would quickly and quietly rush back to camp for the right one before performing an experiment of my own. I would see if it was possible to sneak up on a beaver before being noticed. With the proper camera in hand, I was thrilled to see that it was still close by, but quickly moving out of view. I would have to move to a better position, and I would have to do it as quietly as I could. Stepping softly on the exposed rock so as not to make any noise, I slowly made my way along. Working my way onto a small outcrop of rock at the water's edge completely unnoticed, I got to within just a few meters. With nowhere else to go, I could declare this experiment a complete success. It's not every day you get to spend time like this in such close proximity to a completely wild animal. Well, actually out in the wild. I was awestruck, and honestly, a little amazed by the size of one of these awesome animals. Scale is a very tough thing to convey on a screen, and seeing things only at a distance doesn't really do much to help. Up close and almost personal, I couldn't help but to notice. It was quite a bit larger than I would have thought. Think medium to large sized dogs, but with much shorter limbs. Eventually, I would attempt to sneak away to get Sugar Pie, in hopes that she could experience this as well. But, alas, I was spotted and there was nothing more I could do but watch my furry new friend swim off to tell its family about the weird stalker guy down by the pond. Back at camp, the sun was now disappearing behind the white quartzite hills. Able to relax finally in the first good bit of shade we've had on this site most of the day, I got into making us a campfire, and Sugar Pie got into something else.
Sugar Pie had a couple THC infused gummy candies. She's really zoned in on the filtering of the water at the moment.
If that isn't the look of focus and determination, I don't know what is.
See what I mean?
Soon, we would hear the sound of pterodactyls echoing in the distance. Or it could have been a pair of sandhill cranes taking flight from the ridge across the lake. It's too tough to tell, really. With the moon showing more of itself as each night of this adventure has neared its end. With our fire now burning low, we would soon put out the remaining embers and climb into the tent for the night.
I think it's Littlefoot, everybody. That's not a bad view out the front door as we go to sleep, is it?
No. Pretty beautiful.
Yeah. Did you have a good day today?
I did.
Yeah. Great dinner, nice campsite.
Beautiful views. Yeah.
Beautiful view. Yeah, cool. Ready for bed?
Yes, definitely ready for bed.
Day 7 coming to an end.
Night night.
Night night. Morning of day 8. Wow, time flies. Sugar Pie's making coffee up there. How's it feel after over a week out here now?
Feels pretty good. A little tired.
A little tired?
Yeah.
How's that? You're drinking a coffee.
It will wake me up.
Alright. What'd you have for breakfast?
Peaches and cream instant oatmeal.
Was it good?
It was good. It was a little cold, but that's okay.
Cool.
After a week of near perfect summer weather, the high winds of the previous day had returned for day 8 of our 2024 backcountry adventure, and with them came the clouds. So much for Sugar Pie's theory of meteorology. It was looking very much like we would be needing our rain jackets after all, and likely soon.
As you can hear, we're doing some packing up in the rain. Sugar Pie's rolling up her new inflatable mat that's made sleeping a little bit more comfortable, at least in a tent.
Yeah. I sometimes like these rainy days. It's not so good when you have to get going, but it's kind of nice sometimes to hang out in the tent.
Since you.
When life deals Sugar Pie a lemon, she's the type of person who will make lemonade out of mud. Oh, it's starting to clear up. We're back out of the tent. Just getting some of the packing out of the way. Sugar Pie's gotten our waters all ready for the hike. Everything inside the tent is mostly packed. You just got to take the tent down. And we're going to wait for the weather to maybe clear a little bit. We're not in a huge rush. If the sun pops out for a few minutes, that'll dry that tent off very quickly. So that would be good before we get going. We don't want to pack up a wet tent if we don't have to. Another nice day. Quite a contrast. The first day here of this adventure, we were baking in the sun, getting burns on our ankles and legs and arms. And today, we're in our warmer clothes, complete with jackets and sweaters.
A little bit of a refreshing change.
Yeah, I suppose. So, I take something in the middle.
Yeah.
We don't do a lot of underbox reviews as far as the campsites go here. Here on H2, It's actually not bad. You get a pretty decent location. The box is right here. And while sitting on the box, you got a view of this pond right through here. And when you turn around, you got the lake right down there. I guess it's a pretty decent spot to take a dump. Except that you can see our food bags back at camp right there. So, points lost for privacy. Look, Sugar Pie's just staring at me taking a dump. With the threat of more rain, we're all packed up. Rain covers on and we're heading out. Ready?
Yep.
One last check to see if my beaver pal's out there. Still can't believe how close I was able to get to that last night. That was amazing.
Yeah, it was so cool to see the beaver, see how big they are.
Yeah.
This was the second Saturday of August. In Killarney, that usually means a packed park. For our final night in the park, we had booked the only site available at the time, H52, which is the same campsite we left behind yesterday morning to come here. We hope not to go back there. With the threat of rain on and off for the entire day, and Sunday's forecast calling for worse, we would make the short hike back to the campground, recheck on site availability, and by early afternoon, we were back at Lumsden Lake. This time, not far below the ridge that Sugar Pie and I had climbed just a couple days prior, on H1.
So we made our way over to H2 for today. We had a nice nap. It's been windy and rainy most of the morning, so we haven't really shown you a lot. Sugar Pie's getting together some water, and I think we're going to try and make some pancakes soon. Find a less windy spot to cook.
While we lucked into a pretty great campsite for our final night, the weather the entire day would keep us guessing one moment to the next.
I have no idea what to make of these colors.
The one thing that would be constant the whole time was the unrelenting wind.
That wind is just ripping through here. It's been windy all day. I don't like the color of what I see up there. It might be the end of our campfire and off to the tent, but we'll see.
I wish I could tell you we did some kind of awesome and fun side quest sort of thing here on our last full day of our adventure. Maybe swam the length of a lake, climbed another mountain, wrestled a black bear, or found Bigfoot. But none of that happened. Cold and windy the entire day. We would take our second afternoon nap of the adventure, and about the most exciting thing all day was watching Sugar Pie use the foot pump on her new air mattress.
It's good exercise though, huh?
Yeah, it's dance for evolution.
As evening set in, so too would the rain, until, shortly before sunset,
I was concerned we saw that sun for the last time when the big clouds were rolling in.
when the clouds would break just enough for us to get one last look at the sun just as it was about to set behind the ridge. Then, as if to say farewell friends, see you again someday, Killarney would give us one final moment of amazing.
Sugar Pie's trying to get some pictures of the rainbow before it's gone.
Not very successfully, but oh my gosh, we got to see it.
Yeah.
What a gift for the last night.
Yeah, for sure.
8 days have really gone by faster. We really couldn't have asked for a better end to what turned out to be a really fun time up here. Okay, a little bit warmer would have been nice.